This is the title slide of the presentation. You can see our Delita Project down in Sonora State in Mexico. This is countryside that's well built for exploration and development of mines. The area is well versed in mining. The community understands mining and the benefits that it brings. So we feel that we're in a great jurisdiction to start off with. I will be having forward-looking statements in the presentation. So the thesis of the company is to build a premier copper explorer. And, it was interesting, Peter, listening to your presentation at the beginning of the session, talking about silver, and a lot of, my thinking about copper, you could just take your presentation and substitute the word copper for silver. We've got a situation where there's ever increasing demand because of the electrification, the automation of everything in our economy and society. The decarbonization movement just means more and more demand for copper. The discovery rate in copper is going down dramatically, and it's getting more and more difficult to put mines into production in today's environment. And so all of this creates a supply-demand imbalance that we think is going to be sustainable in the long term, and that creates, of course, a very aggressive copper market. And we think that we are going to come in and fill the void in terms of providing some of those good exploration plays for the copper investors. So we want to start with high quality assets. We want to work in safe and mining friendly jurisdictions. So safe and mining friendly jurisdictions, that means places where you can not only have security of tenure, but also where you can permit and put mines into production once you find something. And of course, this business is all about people. So we're going to build the company around a world-class team, and we're off to a good start. People who have been listening to this section would have heard Reyna Gold and Reyna Silver present earlier. They're affiliated companies with Infinitum Copper, and we've got a lot of the same people involved. Doug Kerwin and Peter McGaw are the two chief technical advisors. So two world-class experts. Peter's an expert in carbonate replacement systems, including skarn deposits. And Doug, of course, is an expert in porphyry systems. And so with those two guys behind us, technically, we really have a great grounding in terms of the technical advisory for copper exploration. And we're able to start off with this great project called Delita that I'll show you more details on. This is our capital structure as we go public. We're going to come onto the market with 38 million shares. There's some warrants as well, so fully diluted 41 million, with a market cap of 40 cents. A go public price of 40 cents. We'll have a market cap of just over $15 million, and we should have $3 million in the treasury. So about a quarter of the company is owned by insiders. This is a little more detail on a few of the people that are involved. Just a bit of my bio. I was with Imperial Metals here in British Columbia. It's a mid-tier producer and explorer, and I spent 24 years with that company. I think the big milestone in my career there was I designed and implemented the deep drilling at Red Chris. So we took the deposit from being what everybody thought was another typical low-grade BC porphyry, and we proved that it was indeed a world-class giant. By the time we were done exploring there in 2012, before we built the mine, we built the global resource to 24 million ounces of gold and 16 billion pounds of copper. So truly a world-class giant. And, I've been working with Peter McGaw since 1997 when we first worked together on the Silvertip project, which is now an operating mine. Peter certainly has been studying CRD deposits since long before they were in vogue, and is clearly, in my mind, the world's leader in the thinking behind CRDs. Doug Kerwin, Executive VP of Exploration for Ivanhoe, a number of exploration credits to his name, and many of those exploration discoveries are now producing mines. And Jorge Ramiro Monroy brings a nice balance to the system. He's an expert in capital markets and really has some great contacts. He's based in Hong Kong, he and his partners, and gives us a lot of opportunity to tap into capital markets. This is a map showing where the Delita project is. It's straddling the border between Sonora and Sinaloa. You'll see that it's right next door to the Alamo Dorado mine. So this is a mine that was in production until 2017 when Pan American Silver exhausted the resources there. Interestingly enough, we feel that that's part of the district that we control with our project, and it's the only zone that isn't on our property, and it's already been mined out. So we feel that we control the remainder of the district. We've got an option to earn 80% in the project from Minorum Gold, and once the earn-in is satisfied, we'll form a joint venture 80-20. You can see the number of exploration targets that we've got on the property. We started the season with 7 targets. We've now got 11. We had the opportunity to send our crews out onto the site and do some exploration, prioritizing the drill targets and so on. And in doing so, they've actually made some new discoveries, discovered new mineralization and so on. So that is part of the advantage that we've had with, I've mentioned, a protracted go public process. Well, we took advantage of the time that we had, and it's really paid off to our benefit. This is a close-up look at the main showing on the property. So Cerro Grande is a skarn zone, and it's had the bulk of the work, but still only a handful of drill holes on it. You can see the drill holes here as the green dots, and the skarn mineralization where it projects to surface is shown as the red stipple. And we've got at least 400 meters of strike length and 300 meters of depth known on the zone, but it's open in all directions still. So lots of work still left to do there. And this is a look, that same plan map with the cross section that goes along with it. We're looking to the south on this cross section, and you can see the drilling that's been done there. A couple of these drill holes, like this one, ended up drilling right down the zone, which is unfortunate, but still impressive, because this drill hole here stayed in 180 meters of mineralized skarn. So it's pretty difficult to do that. Skarns are not typically that big and broad. We think that we've got a big, broad one. We think that it has all the hallmark features of long-lived multi-phase systems, the ones that get big and rich. So we're encouraged to think that we've got the hallmark features that indicate this is going to be a productive place to explore. This is some of the drill holes that have been drilled on the property so far. You can ignore the ones with the double asterisks. Those are the ones that unfortunately have drilled down the zone, and so they don't give a true width representation, but the other ones are represented as true widths. And you can see the zones that we've got here, anywhere from 3.5 meters up to 37 meters of thickness. And when you add the substantial silver grades with the copper, a lot of these grades are over 2% copper equivalent. So pretty rich over really nice thicknesses in a vertical oriented zone. This is one of the many zones that we have on the property to date. So this is just showing the modern day exploration history on the property. There's been less than 7,500 meters of drilling in total on the project yet. So despite the fact that the property is right next door to what was an operating mine, it really has not been explored, and it's the opportunity has been preserved for us to come in and exploit. This is a look at the hillside that hosts the Cerro Grande zone. So this is the main skarn zone that we looked at earlier. And you can see the red stippling representing where the skarn mineralization is coming down the north slope. So we're looking to the south here. There's a small adit up at the bottom of this draw here. That was actually simply an adit that was driven by some of the locals. They found some high-grade copper mineralization, chalcocite mineralization, drove a 40-meter long drive in on it and just hand cobbed the ore, put it into pickup trucks, and took it off to the local miller to make some cash. There's been no underground sublevel development or underground drilling or anything like that. So that's the extent of the underground exploration here. You can see it pinches out to the north here. It doesn't really pinch out. It just gets lost under cover in the valley bottom. So that's an opportunity for us. I've used magnetotellurics, a geophysical technique, on this type of deposit on other properties with great success. And we think that's going to help guide our drilling down in this area if we do some MT up there this year. So we've actually signed a contract, and we're going to be starting our magnetotellurics survey sometime in late February. Geophysics does work fairly well on the property. You can see this is an IP survey that was done over the heart of the property. There's no chargeability response. As a matter of fact, it's a resistivity high where the skarn is. But this is a buried intrusive, polyphase intrusive that's under the valley bottom. And you can see this wonderful chargeability high that's wrapping around the south end of it, as you would expect a pyrite halo to. So it looks like it responds quite well to geophysics. And the geochemistry is equally impressive. This is copper and soils geochem. Nice anomaly sitting over top of the skarn showing here. Over top of this buried intrusive, you know, if you take a look at the scale bar down here, that's a kilometer. So this is like a 4 kilometer long copper and soils anomaly that's sitting over top of the buried intrusive. Quite impressive and, you know, completely unexploited. Here's the same thing, moly and soils, not quite as broad as the copper anomaly, but still at least a 2.5, maybe 3 kilometer long molybdenum and soil anomaly sitting over top of this buried intrusive, nothing over at the skarn as you would expect. And zinc, nothing over top of the porphyry, but in the skarn, I've got to get a picture of Peter McGaw's CRD model in here to demonstrate how, you know, when you leave the copper rich part of the system, you get into the zinc mantle part of the system. And sure enough, toward the south end of the skarn, you start to get the zinc in soil geochemistry showing up with some nice downslope dispersion. So this is, you know, geochemistry again is working very well. So there we have a very simple thesis. We want to develop a premier copper explorer. Our hands have been tied because we're in the go public process, but we expect to be able to build a portfolio of high quality projects like Delita that we can go out and explore. We've built a premier team. I already talked about some of the leadership that we've got in the company, but we've also got a lot of guys working on the ground that are really top-notch geologists in Mexico. We've got, you know, our team there is being led by some geologists that are Sonoran born and have been working there their entire lives. One of them has been working with Peter for 30 years, so he's had a great mentor there, and he's doing a great job of you know, making the most of our exploration opportunity at Delita. We're going to continue to build on our world-class team with the acquisition of additional projects in the future. So we're going to hit the ground running with this Delita project. We have the drill permits in place. We've got agreements with the local ejidos, and we fully expect that we're going to have a great news flow in this upcoming exploration season before we get into the heat of the summer.